Hi guys, very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the video number 431. My name is Ajay Parmar, and in this video today we are going to talk how to actually set up the different attachments, subject names and the body of the email in the Excel, and you can simply control it from the Excel spreadsheets or while sending out the emails, right? So this is going to be a wonderful project we are going to discuss. I got an email from one of my subscribers, and if you're watching the channel for the first time, that's the channel name, youtube.com/c/Ajay Kumar Parmar. All these 431 videos are available on my channel. What you need to do is you just need to go to the channel front page and you need to click on the playlist. These are the 45 different playlists which are created on Excel, Excel VBA, MS Access and Access VBA, right? Now many of you actually keep on asking me that there are so many playlists, there are 400 videos, so how to start it. So guys, I have created the playlist for you. What you can do, you can pause the video and you can see here, note it down. This is how you should watch. If you are looking for the Excel learning, VBA learning, start from Excel VBA introduction, then loops, then collection loops, and then arrays, and so on. Same for the Excel, same for the Access front end, and same for the Access VBA. Now the video which we are going to talk about, of course, it is on the Outlook. So just if you have just joined the channel, then we have already got 37 videos on Outlook. All the videos are different videos on the different the queries, and when you scroll it down you get to see here all these different videos. So go and have fun, right? So this video I'm going to upload because I received an email from one of my subscribers, Dheeraj Kumar. Dear Ajay, kindly find this attached document and help me. So this is what actually he has written. I'll just show you the email. So first of all, I'll just take you to the Excel file. So this is actually the Excel file, you can see, which he had forwarded me, and what he wants to do is actually dear Ajay, kindly help me. I want to send email from Outlook. We need to enter all details from Excel sheet by loop. I have approximately 100 to email, and same for CC. There is different subject and also different mail body also. Looks like you have written this in haste, right? So that's what actually he has to say about it. And so let me just close this. This is his data and we're gonna work on that. So guys, here we have the attachments. I modified this. He didn't actually share any address with me, so I put the files here with their path name. And similarly in the mail body, you can, whatever you want to write, you can write there, right? I don't know why this it's coming twice. Okay, so maybe this is the mail body and this is basically your, you can say that mail to mail address, maybe you can say that, right? How you are basic, or maybe you can say that mail start point, mail starting, dear XYZ, dear ABC, whatever it is, right? I can change this to maybe something else, maybe let's say ABC. Okay, so we're gonna write here and maybe change this as well. Okay, so similarly you can write the mail body as well. That's all up to you. You can write here, for example, in the mail body that this is the last file, or maybe graph discussion given here. Okay, that's how you can write it. Or this is please find attached the output. Okay, so that's how the things are there, and these are all the two mail ID CC attachments. So we have got everything. So let's go and make this program so that we can simply put the values here, and every time we put the values here, those emails should go with all these different two mail CC attachment. Everything will be different here. Now before we start this, I had explained this in my all videos. I always do that. So in this video also I'll try to explain you. So basically guys, now the point is you have here two objects, right? So one is obviously your Excel object. So this is your, let's say, Excel object. Now Excel object is already clear to you because you're going to actually operate from there, from the Excel object. Now the other thing is that you have the different object which is called the Outlook object. So this is basically your Outlook object, right? Now this is your Excel object. Now the point is, in order to communicate with this particular Outlook object, you have to tell your Excel that there is some Outlook application which exists and we need to communicate with that. Right now in Excel, because you're using the Excel VBA, so Excel VBA doesn't know about this Outlook object, because the reason is because this is entirely a different application. You know that how the Outlook looks like, right? For example, in the Outlook you have the mails, you have the folders, right, to store the information, and in Excel you don't have the mails. What you have the worksheets, and in the worksheet you have the cells to store the information. So the point what I'm trying to make here is that both these applications have different object hierarchy. Now in Excel I can work with the sheets, I can work with the cells, but if I have to use these mails and the folder words in Excel VBA, it can't be done unless you tell Excel VBA that we will have to deal with the Outlook object. So how are you going to communicate that? Well, you're going to communicate this using going to the developer tab, and you click on the Visual Basic and you go here and insert a module. So what you need to do is you need to go to the tools and the reference. When you go to the tool and the reference, here you will find the different libraries, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use here a library called Microsoft Outlook 16.0. You can see here this is the library which is activated here, right? Forget about this access. You need not to work on this particular thing, because I'm not here to work with the access. But these Visual Basic for application and then Excel object library and OLE automation and Office 16.0, these are the guys by default basically the libraries, right? So these are the libraries which will be there, don't worry about it. These are the by default libraries. What you need to do is you need to activate Outlook 16.0 or whatever version you have. I'm using Office 2016, and if you don't know how to do this, just press M and scroll it down. These are all alphabetically sorted, so just find it out where is your Microsoft Outlook. So it would be somewhere here where you have this Microsoft Office coming, right? So just make sure you check mark that and press OK. And when you press OK, please do check once again before you write the program in going back to the tools and the reference, and see that should be on there. This is the one, Outlook 16.0, right? So that's what you need. Now once this library is activated, now we will tell our Excel VBA that you got to deal with the Outlook application. So how are you going to do that? So let's write here code. The first thing which you will do is you're going to create the Outlook application here. So that's how you write dim, choose any variable. I'm gonna choose let's say O, right, as Outlook.application. The reason why you see here Outlook by default when you type in, because of the reason that you actually defined in the tool reference that you clicked on that Outlook library. If you don't do that, this is not going to come, and then you cannot use that. So this is how guys we write set O equals to, and then you're gonna write that I'm gonna create a new application here. So the new Outlook application will be created, which will be considered as O. So if you press O dot, you see that you get to see here a lot of things. Now you know that O is not a VBA word, right? It's not a VBA keyword, reserved word, right? It could be anything. You can write anything here, but the moment you press dot, automatically you will start seeing all the things here. All the things means that all the basically the methods and the properties which are associated with the Outlook application, right? And this is what we are going to do right now. So I define like this. Now what is the next thing? Now guys, once you have the Outlook application created, now what would you do? Why have you created that Outlook application? So that you can use the Outlook classes, right? Now what do you mean by the classes? So classes basically means that you can say that it's a kind of a paper. On that paper you have designed everything, and you have written that with this particular object you can do all this, these things. For example, if I say that I have, let's say, created a car, for example, and if I'm going to now put that things on the paper, how I can do that? I can say that, so with this car you can create tires. You can create 4 tires having the oval shape or round shape, and there's a one gearbox there, so that you can use that. Now this car can go up to 100 miles per second speed, right? So so what is this 100 miles per speed, that per second? That's basically the property that talks about, that shows you this is basically a attribute, adjective, of that object called car. So similarly, whenever you use any classes, they have the method and the properties. Properties means, like, for example, what is the name of the sheet? Okay, that's the name of the sheet actually is the property, because you know about the object using its name, right? And if I say sheets.add, so what does that do? Workbook.open, you know, I hope you are familiar with these commands. So these things do some action, so they are called the methods. So every basically class has a method and a property. So method is basically, you can say that in layman term, method is a verb and property is a kind of, you know, it's an adjective to your noun. So method means an action which you see in front of you, like when you open the workbook you get to see the workbook open, so that's called the, you know, method. If the workbook name, if I talk about what is the workbook name, that's called the property of it, and same for the worksheet. So similarly, when you have defined the Outlook, we are going to use its different classes which are designed for the different purposes. For example, in a worksheet, you know, you can move the worksheets, you can copy the worksheets, you know, you can rename the worksheets. So they are called the, you know, they're all the attributes which are associated with the worksheet. Similarly, if you talk about the pivots, you talk about the charts. So guys, every object actually in VBA has a different role to play, and they are majorly divided into these two methods and the properties things, right? So when I talk about the Outlook, I should be knowing which class I have to use. If you're following my channel, if I specifically talk about the loops, you see that when you talk about the collection loop where you write for each worksheet in worksheet, what actually do you do there? You refer to the worksheet class because you're working there, you know, with the worksheet object. Similarly, when you talk about the charts, you know, you use the chart classes. When you talk about the pivot, you use the pivot class. So for every object we have the different classes. So similarly for in the Outlook, now in this particular example, what I want to do, well, I want to actually basically create an email, and that's it, right? So when you want to create an email, so there is a class which they have given, and the name of that class is actually mail item, right? So that's the class we can use, we are going to use here. So you have to define that in the Outlook there is an object which is called the email. Okay, so how you going to do that? Right now you have created the Outlook application, Outlook object. Under that Outlook object we have to send an email, and to deal with that email I'm gonna write here, let's say omail as outlook dot mail item. Now what you see after the Outlook is this is a mail item which is a class of Outlook, right? So that's how it is coming. And remember, this is outlook dot mail item is coming because you actually have already activated this reference which is Microsoft Outlook 16.0. this is the one, right? If you don't activate it, you won't see any details here. Now how you create the Outlook, so you have to write that, you know, this Outlook has to be equals to what? So this Outlook is going to be treated as an email, but how? You're gonna write here o dot create item, and so create the email for me, which is this ol mail item. Okay, now remember I'm using here o dot, because why I'm using o dot, because O is my Outlook application. Important point, right? Now these are the two lines which you have written, and that's enough for us because we don't want to here work with the folders, we don't want to work here with any sort of you know, attachments. We don't want to extract the attachments from the email, right? We just want to, you know, send the email, that's it. So you don't have to use any other class. There are a lot of other classes which I had talked about in my previous videos, right? Now the only thing which now you need to do is you need to connect basically this particular portion. Now how are we going to make it dynamic? Now, you know guys, so this actually ideally loop should run 3 times, and each time it runs, it actually, you know, before it goes for the second row, goes for this money.k in this ind.com, it should first pick up all these items in the mail cc attachment. So what we're going to do is I'm going to write here dim any variable j as long, because I have to run this loop 3 times, right? So I'm going to write here 2 to how many times? Well, I just write here 100 and dot end xlr row. This is going to give me the row number, guys. Okay, so the row number I will have, which is going to be 4 this time. So my loop is going to work from 2 to 4, which means 2 3 4. So 3 times I'm going to run this loop 3 times, right? That ensures me, if you add some more value here, obviously the last row would come here as 5 and then 2 to 5. So that's how basically the code is, you know, we have made the code, and this is how the code is gonna work. Now what is the next thing I want to do? So each time before it goes for the j equals to 3, what we will do, this is how we will write for with omail. Okay, you're gonna write here with omail you write here with omail, and then you just go here end with. So we're gonna write here everything in the end with. Okay, it's not necessary that you should use this with omail and end with, but that's a good way of writing the syntaxes, because I don't have to repeat then omail every time. I don't have to write omail.to, omail.cc, omail.attachment. I can just write, start writing dot. So what is the first thing I want to do? The first thing, guys, I want to do is to. So this mail should go to whom? Well, this mail should goes to a person who is right now sitting in the row number 2 and the column number 1. So the column number 1, so, and the row number 2. So how are you gonna get the 2? Well, the 2 is J, and the column number, it has to be 1, right? So this is how I write, right? So this is done. Okay, perfect. Now remember, J is going to come from here, which is 2. So second row, first column. Perfect. Now what is the next thing I want to do? Well, the next thing I want to do is, obviously, I want to put the CC. Okay, so now again, cells on the same row number 2, but the column number is going to be 2 dot value, right? You can also use the BCC, right? This is how you would get to see BCC, but it's not there, so I'm not gonna do anything. Attachments dot add. Now what do you want to attach, right? So you want to attach, obviously, the value which is on the same row number but with the third column, guys. So this is what I write, right? And you know that your attachment actually is in the third column, isn't it? Let me show you. This is your attachment, right? And then what is the next thing? So the next thing is your basically body, right? In the body, what you're gonna do? So you're gonna write here the dear, whatever the name we have of the person. So you write here cells, and then on the same row number but with the 4 column, and then you write here dot value, and then dear XYZ. Maybe if you would like to put the comma afterwards, so you can write here like this. You can write that comma and then and. Now the end, now when I address person by dear XYZ, obviously I go to the next line, and then I write my subject. So now what you can do is you can write here and VB new line. So this inserts a new line, guys. If you want 2 lines, you can insert 2 lines, right? Like this, VB new line. And then finally I'm going to join that with J, 5, which is in my 5th column, right? So that's how the code looks like. So we have some error here. Let me see that what's the error actually. Okay, this, I don't know how I put it here, the code. So that's how. Okay, I think that's cool now. So you're gonna send that email. Well, I will not send that email. I will not use the send, but if you want to send it out, you don't want to see how the mail is drafted, you can use the send. But for you to, I want to show you this, so I just use the display code here. Okay, so now I'm going to use this the display, and so the email is going to be displayed here. And now what is the next thing I want to do? Well, I think the next thing is, once the email is drafted, it goes to the next J, and it's gonna pick up the 3, and then you will have the 3 item there. So I think this looks pretty cool to me, guys, and we can run this. So let's go and run this code. There we go. Alright, so this is going to create the Outlook application in my memory, and now this is going to create the email. Now let's start. Now you can see here the email is going to work 2 to 4 times. So the first time when it works, what is the value I have here in J1, right? It's 2. So that second row, this email should come. Alright, so you can see that it has picked, then CC, then Manik, and then the attachment add. It should add the attachment, and in the body, I hope things will go fine here, and let's display it. So let's have a look how the email is going to be drafted. All right, there we go, guys. You can see here, perfect. That's wonderful. Now I come back to the end with and next J. Now next J is going to draft the another email. So this time the J is going to be 3, and you know that now the row number 3 will be picked, and my columns will remain same, right? So you keep on running this code. All right, so cannot find this file. So I think there is some error in my file. Let me reset the code. I think there must be some problem with the path. So let me check that. So this is desktop automating underscore mailers dot xlsx. Okay, so seems to me that this file may have some issue. So let me check here on my desktop automating. This is my file. Alright, guys, so this is actually xlsm. Sorry about the error. Well, in fact, it's always good if you can see the errors, because I always believe that when you have the errors, then you learn a lot, right? So there's no point of like editing the video and just showing you as if like the code, you know, run in the very first attempt. That's not, it is true, you know, it's not true. That's not how it works, right? You get to see many errors when you basically make the code. So I just rectified the extension for you. Okay, so now I think the code is working. I just go and create the button here. I think I have already explained everything to you. So though he has created the button here, let me just escape it and let's just go here and assign the macro here. So my macro name is code, right? So there we go. And now I'm going to run this. So let me click here. Let's see that what's going to happen. There we go. So the code is going to work and I'm expecting 3 emails. Alright, so there we go. So now you have got Technopack and then automating mailers and the Gantt. And so I think, guys, look at this now. This is a big time error. First you need to understand what's happened here. First of all, the code worked. There is no error. That's the first thing. But not necessarily every time the code works, you know, that it's a genuine code. It happens that code can work, but it may have some problems. Now what happened, actually, the first thing is that the email, if you see in my Outlook, it picked up the last email. Where are these 2 emails? They are not there. Okay. The second thing is, to my surprise, it picked up all the, you know, 3 attachments. Well, you see that all the attachments are coming here. But we actually wanted to send the 3 emails, and in all the 3 emails, these 3 attachments, you know, had to go. So what happened? So basically, guys, what happened is that you define the email in the code only once, but you want the email to send, you know, 3 times. So this is not going to work, because when you use this line set omail equals to o dot create item ol mail item, this is going to create only 1 email for you, right? But you need the 3 different emails. So what you are supposed to do, you think on it, right? Maybe pause the video. So basically what you need to do is you need to tell your VBA, Excel VBA, that every time it has to go, it has to create 3 emails. So just cut this line from here and just insert the line here, because after, when the loop runs, every time the loop runs from J to 2 to 3 to 4, you know, this email, new email is going to set up. Right, that's it, guys. So I just click here again and let me check now if we are on the target, right on the target or not. And as you can see here, beautiful. So we have got the 3rd email. We have got, this is I think the last one, right? You got the correct attachment. Well, you have the another one. There we go. So with just 1 line change, right, you actually have made your code so powerful. But you should know the concept also, that way to put this line, you know. I don't want you to just you know, copy and paste this code. You should understand why I have written here line, you know, here. If I just write this line here, like let's say for here, previously it was here, do you think the code is going to work? Well, it's not going to work, guys. Why? If I click here, look at this, what will happen. Let me show you. Again, I think the 1 email is going to be drafted. Look at this, what happens, right? So the point is, basically in the loop, this loop is running 3 times. So every time this loop runs, it has to create a new email. But if you're going to write this before the loop starts, it will create only 1 email, because after the next J, this is the line which, you know, is going to be executed, the line which comes after this for J equals to 2. So you have to tell your VBA that every time you come to the new J, I want a new email from you. And obviously then with the change in the J, you will have your row numbers keeps on changing. So that's how, guys, you can make this code, right? So now you can add as many emails. If you want to add 100 emails, you can, but I don't know what is the limit of the Outlook, how many mails you can send it out. Maybe you can Google it, right? That how many emails you know, in one go somebody can send, but I think 100 emails would not be a challenge. So that's it for now. This is a simple code which I have written here, right? Let me just go and increase the font of this, go in the editor, and maybe from here I can, this is the code, guys, right? So I hope this is now visible to you. That's what we have done. Simple, right? So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much, dear subscriber, for your question. I hope you will enjoy this video when you're going to watch, and don't forget to leave your comments, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So I will be back very soon. We'll be talking something more, and I'll see you now on Monday, right? Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.